Welcome to the Queen of Skulls. Today we're going to be starting a playthrough of a Necromancer Focus build. Necromancers do tend to be a weaker build in Age of Wonders 4 at the moment. However, the Wyvern patch will be balancing them in probably maybe a month or two. So we are led by Saiya Bonebreaker, the Queen of Skulls. These are the Deatheaters, which are humans with quick reflexes that makes them 30% harder to hit by ranged attacks. They have an Arcane Focus, so their magic attacks deal plus 15% damage. And they're a dark culture, which means that they have buildings that specialize in ignoring city stability income penalties. They get more knowledge on average and extra income from prisons and crypts. And they have units that specialize in inflicting negative status effects and exploiting that with Call of the Weak, which gives you extra damage against units that have been weakened. As well as that, if you attack a unit with weakened, you get regeneration once per turn, which gives you plus 6 temporary hit points at the end of its turn in battle. We are ritual cannibals, so we have the ability to eat corpses for extra hit points. We are more evil than most people at the beginning of the game, and the nearest city owned gains plus 3 mana and plus 3 food per tier of non-magic unit origins killed or lost after successful combat. And to top it off, we are Scions of Evil, which means that our cities gain plus 10 draft and our empire gains plus 5 Imperium per level of evil alignment. There are 3 levels of evil alignment, so we could gain at most plus 30 draft or plus 15 Imperium per turn. In addition to this, our units are recruited at plus 1 rank when we're at the maximum evil alignment, but it is kind of hard to reach that evil alignment and hold it. Our shock and shield units also have plus 1 rank to start with. Initially, we start with the spell Soulfire, which is a spell that costs souls, and a target enemy unit sustains 10 frost damage and 10 fire damage. Adjacent enemy units are dealt 50% of the damage. This spell is not very good because it costs, I believe, 10 souls to fire, which is the equivalent of like 60 mana. That will be balanced in the Wyvern patch, thankfully. And then we also have Ice Shackles, which is where a target enemy unit and one other unit within 2 hexes sustains 14 frost damage and becomes slowed. So let's begin. We're also playing this on brutal difficulty. My first playthrough on the channel was on normal difficulty and that ended up being a little too easy. And I have played one test game with Saiya and finished that, so I made some modifications in how I think I'll progress through the tech tree. So first things first, let's take a look at where we are on the map. So we zoom out all the way, and we see here that we're actually in the bottom center, so we probably have an enemy player to our west, one to our east, and quite possibly one in the middle of the map. This is a continents map, however, so there should be an ocean somewhere. I'm going to start off with a workshop and then boost that by building a farm here pretty quick. I'm going to go ahead and start building a pursuer. I won't be able to hurry that because I simply don't have enough gold, unfortunately. And our starting stack is our hero Saiya, 2 Dark Warriors that are shock units that specialize in countering shield units with their charge strike, and a pursuer, which is a pretty basic ranged unit. Normally I would build 2 scouts, but I think in this case the best thing that we can do is just stick with a 1 scout and then focus on combat units. This army of wild speakers is guarding a food surplus, but if we fought them we would have to fight 3 summons in addition to the wild speakers themselves. I'm not certain that we're quite yet ready for that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to split the armies up and kind of search the different directions of our empire real quick. The scout is going to move to the west. We found an underground passage already, that's interesting. I am going to miss the ability to prospect from the industrious culture, that's for sure. We'll send 1 Dark Warrior to the east, just a little ways, not super far. Another Dark Warrior is going to go north, not see much, and our Pursuer we're going to send south. Let's set up our Arcane Research. I think that I'd like to go with maybe Wayfinder enchantment in this case to make our scout move a little faster. I could research the Bone Golem, but I already have access to the Dark Warriors, which are shock units. And Brand of Wrath is pretty expensive, and all it does is grant non-dark units the Call of the Weak ability. That would apply to our skeletons though, if we got Brand of Wrath. However, that would also increase their mana upkeep. So let's just go with Wayfinder enchantment for now. And in brutal mode, you have to be very quick about expanding your cities. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to pretty quickly find the next location for our second city. Alternatively, if we find a free city, we might be able to concentrate our forces fast enough that we can attack the city and vassalize it within a couple turns. We've actually found an ocean to the north, so it looks like there's an ocean in the middle of the map. We also found a draft resource that will give us possibly a hero item as well. That'll be very nice to get next turn. So I think I found what is probably going to be our second city site. There's a food resource over here, meaning that there's probably some other resources to take advantage of as well. And it looks like there's actually an ancient wonder right here, including some gold to pick up on the next turn. Yeah, there's a mana node over here, as well as a small monster den that's going to wake up in 3 to 6 turns that I'm going to have to take care of pretty quick. Let's grab whatever item this is right here. A wind barrier ring. That's quite good. Makes units 60% harder to hit by physical range and magic attacks. Since we're already 30% harder to hit, that makes us 90% harder to hit on the hero that I give it to. And we'll of course give it to our leader, Saiya. Saiya, by the way, has the Orbs of Necromancy. So she does magic bolts that are blight damage based, and she also has the ability to raise undead. A friendly undead corpse is revived with 60% of its total hit points, and a non-undead corpse is raised as a zombie. Now, if you raise a friendly undead corpse, they do have 1 permanent hit point, and the other remaining hit points are temporary hit points, unfortunately. And of course, as a wizard king, well, wizard queen, we are able to overchannel and cast multiple spells per turn as long as we can use the overchannel ability. Let's take a quick look underground and see what is down there. A mana node, but there's no space at all to build here. We would have to excavate this ground in order to build anything down here. So we're going to come back up. And we're going to head south. Saiya, I'm going to send immediately to the east. We need to get that second city rolling as soon as possible. But I am going to spend some Imperium on my capital city to get a population right now, so that I can boost the workshop by building a farm right here. That'll also give me the food from the pasture so that we can grow faster. We were growing in 3 turns to the next population before we built the farm, and we are still growing in 3 turns to the next population after building the farm. So it's a pretty good choice in my opinion. This small monster den is guarded by 4 tusk piglets, which are basic shock units, as well as a entwined thrall, which is a skirmisher unit. We're probably going to need a full stack of 6 units in order to easily take this down. On brutal difficulty, you definitely do not want to be losing units if you can help it. Oh, this is not an unguarded drop actually. There's a bunch of stone spirits here, lesser stone spirits. That's too bad. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our scouts back, and we need to concentrate our forces together. That monster den is going to wake up here pretty soon. It's going to wake up in 0 to 3 turns. I also need to pick up this knowledge on the way back with my Dark Warrior. That's alright. Getting the Wayfinder enchantment's not a big deal. We're going to quickly grab that gold. Oh, never mind. There's a freaking unit on top of it. That's okay. And we got a bronze ancient wonder over here, the Oracle Woods. If we grab this, it counts as a conduit. We'll get +5 Imperium, +20 mana, and +5 mana per conduit in the city domain that keeps this, as well as the ability to raise up Astral Keepers in the Rally of Lieges. Thankfully, it's a bronze ancient wonder, so it shouldn't be too hard to clear later on. But it looks like we aren't going to get any free gold, unfortunately. That's okay. Alright, so there's an iron deposit on this province here. There's a pasture province here, and a mana node province here. It might be best to just go ahead and build the outpost right on this location. It's a little close to my capital, but then I'll be able to expand the capital to the north, where there's also a river that gives a little more food, as well as access to a fishery for more food, and we will be able to build the fishery buildings by getting up to there. We can also expand our capital a little bit to the west. There's another river to provide food as well. So I think in this case the best move is to go ahead and get that second city rolling as soon as possible. So we're going to start that outpost right now. And then the first place we're going to expand to is going to be that pasture to the east, and then the production from the industrial node right there. It looks like we're also going to be able to build fisheries for the city as well, based on this water right here. I think our first fight is going to be this Marauder Guard, which consists of 1 defender, a Night Guard, and a Dark Warrior guarding this mana node. So let's start planning on that and pulling back. The next fight will probably be these 2 Night Guards and this Halberdier after that. Got some free mana, it's always nice. I'm going to go ahead and rush out that Pursuer and finish the production on it, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on a skeleton unit That is going to cost us 6 mana. We don't have a ton of mana income at the moment, but we have plenty. And I would like to start using the Raise Undead ability if it comes to it during battle. Ranged units do tend to be better than melee units in pretty much all circumstances, but for now we just need bodies. Grab that knowledge on our way back. We found the Bannerless Keep to the south. That should be a pretty easy clear and not too long. However, expanding our capital city turret will take a couple upgrades of the town hall if we decide to expand our capital city to the Bannerless Keep. We found yet another infestation to the west of the southern infestation. That's kind of a problem. Probably going to wake up pretty soon and start sending invading forces towards us. Brutal tends to be quite brutal in terms of the world threat, more so at the beginning of the game. And then of course the Marauders get even stronger as time passes. We finish that Wayfinder enchantment. Let's see here. We'd like to go with Soulbind, I think, so that we can get more souls. Alternatively, Baneful Curse is really nice for debuffing their units. Now, we don't need to worry too much about souls yet. It's going to be better to go with Baneful Curse so that we can lower their defense and their resistance and weaken their units. Weakening, by the way, causes them to deal less damage, which is very nice. And our units that have Cold a Weak get extra damage against weakened units. I could go ahead and pick up the Knowledge Extraction skill, which gives plus 50 knowledge per level of heroes defeated in combat. The Wyvern patch will be balancing this so that it's only 150 knowledge per hero. But for now, this still works pretty well. But I don't think it's a good choice quite yet. We don't yet face any heroes. Once we're about to face a hero, I'll probably pick this up. I'm going to go ahead and hurry the production of the workshop. It's got 1 turn left. I want those yields coming in sooner rather than later. And then after that, what I'm going to go for is a storehouse, which I'm going to boost by building a forester on this iron deposit over here. So that'll give me some of my gold back. That'll make the production time shorter on the storehouse. It'll be done in 3 turns. I think in 1 turn I'm going to start switching the forester over to a quarry so that I can focus on production from the iron deposit. We could attract another population in Molmok, but instead I'm going to get the outpost upgraded into a city in 2 turns. We'll start the process of upgrading the outpost into a city in 2 turns. We definitely need more ranged units, so we're going to start working on a pursuer. And I might even hurry that pursuer because I need that as soon as possible to clear these units over here, which is what I'm going to do. And then of course I'm going to build another pursuer. We have plenty of frontline units already. We definitely need more units that can fight from the back. My first pick for Magic Tomb is probably going to be the Tomb of Pyromancy because Pyromancers are absolutely fantastic. Next turn, we're going to take this battle right here. Let's take a quick look at this infestation and see when it's going to wake up very carefully. Whoa, what is this? See, there's already swamp trolls on the map, and this is brutal difficulty. Those things are pretty powerful, they're tier 4. So there's a dragon's lair over here. It is asleep for 3 to 6 more turns at least. It's a gold infestation spawner, so that thing's probably going to create a lot of problems for us, unfortunately. There's already a patrolling unit, it looks like, so we need to get our scout out of this infestation territory. Let's go ahead and start working on the Wayfinder enchantment for our scouts. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be, but we might as well. Unfortunately, we haven't yet met a free city to take advantage of the All-Seeing Empire skill, but we'll be picking that up later on. And we're not yet interested in seafaring, so I'm not going to pick that. Alright, our units are concentrated together to take the fight to the enemy right here. We're going to auto-resolve, and then if I lose any units or I take too much damage, I'll fight it myself. However, I will of course get it out. Yeah, we took a little too much damage in my opinion, so I'm going to try and do this myself, and we'll see how much better I can do. You know what, I'll go ahead and I think I'll leave parts of this combat in. So this fight is occurring on a mana node. You have these mana crystals here that magically charge units that are standing adjacent to it. So they are granted +2 lightning damage on all attacks. Destroying a magically charged obstacle deals 20 lightning damage to all adjacent units. The enemy is of course coming in a typical defensive position. What I think I would like to do is I would like to pull them more to the west over here, away from the lightning obstacles. So we're going to move our units to the west. Alright, we positioned ourselves in such a way that their units cannot reach us on this turn. However, they will probably put themselves in a position that our Dark Warriors will be able to get an attack in on the next turn. And in consideration of that, I'm going to pull the Dark Warriors back a little bit further. They get extra damage per hex that they travel, up to 3 hexes. So they could receive plus 60% damage on an attack. I don't think I'm going to cast any spells on them quite yet. I'm going to wait for them to come closer to us. No, they're trying to be very careful about how they move in, which is understandable. We're going to pull our ruler back a little bit further so that she's no longer in danger. We're also going to pull back this archer a little bit further, as well as the dark warrior. So now this night guard is going to be incentivized to attack our skeleton. If the skeleton dies, it can be resurrected, but of course that leaves it with 1 permanent hit point, so I'd much prefer not to do that unless absolutely necessary. We're not going to throw any spells this turn. Alright, here he comes. He's going to bring the damage. Not much, as expected. The defender can't actually reach us at this point. The Dark Warrior is going north. Looks like he's going to target our archer units next turn if I let him. I think what I'm going to start with here is a charge attack on the defender, most likely, to cancel its retaliation. Alright. I'm going to speed up the gameplay a little bit further. Let's start with some rounds down range at this Night Guard. So now it's weakened. Unfortunately, our skeletons don't start with the Call of the Weak ability. We have to get that Brand of Wrath, I believe. So he doesn't get extra damage against them quite yet. Let's do a little bit more damage to him. And then let's finish him with the... We'll almost finish him with the skeleton. If we finish him off, we will actually be able to raise him up using our hero's abilities, which is an interesting choice. So let's actually back off slightly. Let's come over to here, away from the Dark Warrior. Get one more shot down range. Let's use that Raise Undead ability to call up a zombie. The zombie can then get an attack on the defender. And then chances are this Dark Warrior is going to attack our archer here, if we allow him to do so. So I think in this case what we need to do is we need to just get aggressive and attack him with our Dark Warrior first. Unfortunately, we did not remove one of his unit models, so I think what I'll do is I'll actually spend a little bit of mana to hurt him further, so that he loses a unit model. Shock units only get 1 attack, they don't get multiple attacks like a defender would, so I'm not too concerned about him being close to my Dark Warrior, since he would have to travel more hexes to get more damage in the first place. They're targeting our zombie unit, which is fantastic. Targeting the zombie means that they're not targeting any of our actually important units. He does have a retaliation ability at the moment, so we need to attack with our zombie first. Our zombie does not have Call of the Weak right now either. We have to use that Brand of Wrath first. So let's absorb the retaliation attack with the zombie. We also inflicted decaying on him, but that's not a big deal. So our Dark Warrior can move 4 hexes in 1 turn. We're going to have him back up by 2 hexes so that he can come back around and strike for 2 hexes. We'll move the skeleton a little bit closer, get some hits in, shoot with the pursuer, get some grazes, whatever. And then let's see if we can finish with our ruler. Almost. Let's finish with the Dark Warrior. Fantastic. If I move away from this Dark Warrior, I will get opportunity struck. So I'm going to go ahead and just attack. That removed one of the unit models, lowering their damage further. I'm going to get a little bit closer and then attack with this pursuer. And then pretty much at this point the match is over. Just right there. And just like that, with some clever positioning and some careful use of abilities, raising the zombie to have the zombie be focused on, we went from having 2 of our units be almost dead to having a very minor amount of hit point damage. Let's give that enchantment to the scouts. I probably should have done that before I moved the scout. I don't think he gets to... Yeah, he doesn't get to move more now, but that's okay. We're down to netting 14 mana income, so we definitely want to get a shrine in not too long. And I'd like to clear out these units and then probably sweep down to the south, clear out that monster den, and then go northwest and clear out this food pickup. So now I have enough Imperium to begin upgrading this outpost. I'm going to begin doing that. That'll take 3 turns. This fight against the Marauders in the quarry is going to be pretty easy. It's not going to be a very big deal at all. So I'll go ahead and I'll just cut that out. But just to show you, I'm going to show you the auto resolve, which is right now. We obtained a fair amount of damage. Alright, I'm not sure if we did worse or better than the AI, but we did pretty good. The skeleton took some more damage, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna have to rotate out which one gets hurt. Thank you so much for watching Dyllin With It. If you enjoyed the video and would like to help the video and the channel reach a wider audience that enjoys this kind of content, leaving a like will greatly help. And you can always subscribe if you'd like to keep coming back for more. I'd really appreciate any comments or criticism you have about the video in the comments below, because it helps me to refine the videos to make them more enjoyable. I can't fix what I don't know is broken. Anyway, thanks again, and Saiya and I will see you in episode 2.